Hi, everyone. This is Drop the Mic Live Mic. I'm Shannon E. This is season 2, episode 5. And who may I be honored and blessed with on my platform today?
Michi Jeffries.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, Miss Michi, Miss Jeffries, okay, I just want to for you to reintroduce yourself thoroughly, letting the people know your first, your last name, exactly who you are, what do you do, and we can go move forward from there.
Absolutely. So I am Michi Jeffries, a Chicago native, born and raised in Chicago, left Chicago at the age of 18 to join the United States Air Force. I'm a retired Air Force veteran after 26 years of service. I'm also a breast cancer survivor, 10 plus years and counting cancer free. And in this stage of my life after retirement, I am also a financial literacy educator and a licensed financial services professional.
Amen to that. For all of you guys who did not join me in episode 4 of season 2, Ms. Jeffries happened to be on there as well. She was discussing her, I don't know how to put into words, but her accomplishment. Let's start there, right?
Yes,
And the
yes,
fact that you are a victor of cancer. Okay, you
yes.
are a cancer survivor. Um, and it was a great show. It was a great show.
Thank
If
you.
you haven't seen it yet, if you're new to subscribing, please go back and watch it. Episode 4. Okay. The chemistry was great between us. That show was amazing. And we are going to have another amazing show on tonight. I'm really, really happy because I do want to say that this is episode 5 of Drop the Mic Live Mic.
Wow.
Okay. Episode 5. All
Woo.
right. Episode 5 of Drop the Mic Live Mic for 2024. Okay. I took a long break. If in case you know, I took a long break at one point with Drop the Mic Live Mic. And it was well needed. I needed to get some things done. But I started back in January and this is episode 5. So I'm
Mm.
really proud. I know this is gonna be a great show. We have a great topic. And we're just gonna get started. So the topic of discussion for tonight is financial literacy. Okay. Why I wanted to talk about this topic. Let's start there. My show, Drop the Mic Live Mic, for all those that know and for all those who do not know, is a show in regards to topics that need to be discussed. It needs to be discussed. However, it is swept underneath the rug or is being discussed with people who we don't really have solutions for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We're just like learning as we go. Some of us feel like we're alone. We're not talking about it at all, or we're just giving bits and pieces into the community, which kind of, allows us to continue to, for the blind to lead the blind. Right. So this topic specifically is well needed in our community, well needed. um I think that it's important to have these conversations with um people such as yourself, financial literacy workers, bankers, anybody that's in the field but on a surface level where we can still reach you guys, you know what I'm saying, to be able
Yes.
to discuss these conversations. We see it on Instagram, we see it on all these social media platforms, all these
Mhm.
people teaching financial
Mhm.
literacy, but we can't get at them unless we got some money,
Mhm.
right? We can't have these conversations with them one to one. We can't ask them questions. We can't ask them to mentor us. We can't like find them for real. So the energy that we even pour into trying to get to them, by the time we halfway get to them, we're done. Like we don't even want to continue on, you know? How is it that we're looking for a embetterment when it comes to money and finances if we constantly have to put out finances just to learn what to do with finances, right? So this is why I'm really grateful and I'm really appreciative of people like you who are still in reach, and able to be asked these things and want to teach the community and want to still say, hey, listen, yeah, I'm here, but look, I can give you this, you know? So I'm really grateful for that. So yeah, that's exactly why I want to have this conversation. I know that you do enjoy. You
Yeah.
definitely do enjoy what you do. Can you tell us what it is that you do specifically in the field of financial literacy?
Sure, absolutely. And I loved your introduction about why financial literacy. And you are right. You know, a lot of people, we run around in circles. It's just
Hmm.
like a car when you see somebody in a parking lot doing donuts. It's just a continual circle. Burning rubber, going nowhere, just in a circle. And for
Right,
most of us, we emulate what we see from those that have taught us, our parents, our legal guardians, those that we looked up to, and we repeat the same cycle of what they did. So now the state of our nation, inflation, economy, all of these things are causing us to be in a level of change. We have to change what we're doing, and the only way we can change what it is that we're doing is by learning what we don't know. And this is
absolutely.
why financial literacy is so critical. It is extremely important for people to learn about money and how money works so that they can be given the opportunity to do better.
Right,
Yes,
exactly.
yes,
And I love that. I totally agree. You know, and with that being said, I'm gonna just go right into it with the five whys, right?
yes.
So everything that you just said applies to who, what, when, where, and why. Okay. So my first question to you with the five, I mean, excuse me, I said five whys, five W's, excuse me.
Yeah.
The five W's.
Who, what, when, where, and
The
why.
who, what, when, where, and why. Excuse me.
Yes,
Right. So we're just gonna
yes.
start with the who. Okay. Who needs financial literacy?
Everyone, everyone needs financial literacy. Everyone needs it because no matter, prime example, I actually spoke with a beautiful woman a couple of days ago. And as I was getting to know her, hearing about her background, she too is also a veteran. And I started to change the conversation a little bit and talk about the other, because I had gifts. So in my realm of work, I believe in giving out gifts. I
Yes.
believe in giving out the gift of, number one, just the financial literacy. I have awesome, awesome financial seminar workshops. And I also give free financial reviews, as well as some of the financial resources that we have that people can read up on and actually follow along with our workshops as well. So as I
Hmm.
started to share this with her, she said, "Well, I'm pretty much pretty good. I manage my finances. I don't spend outside my means. I'm paying off my debts, et cetera, et cetera." And I said, "You know what? I used to think the same way. I used to think that as long as I've got money and as long as I'm managing my savings and I'm looking at what I'm spending versus what's going out, spending less, saving more, that's it. I'm good." But that's
Okay.
not true. That is not true.
Okay.
There is a lot more to money than just managing what's coming in and what's going out.
Right.
It's about where you're putting your money. It's about understanding the taxation categories that your money falls into. And this is where we are lacking. It's about understanding how rates of interest work. And if you are not contributing your money towards a particular account that's giving you more than 4% rate of interest, you will never outpace inflation.
Mm.
So if you're not out, this is one of the
Okay.
gifts right here. Okay, the
Right.
Saving Your Future book. Okay,
Right.
I'm
I
looking
have
at.
that book. I still have it. I
Yes, you
have read
do.
some of it. I'm guilty. I haven't read all of it, but
That's
I've read
okay.
some of it for
That's
sure.
okay. But there
Yeah.
is literally a page in here, a couple of pages in here, and it's entitled Inflation, the Silent Killer.
Mm.
Okay. And the reason why I went to that article is because, or when I went to this, is because of an article I just read, because it is Women's History Month.
That's right.
It's Women's
That's
History
right.
Month. Yes.
That's right.
So I was reading about
Okay.
the history on Women's History Month.
Yes.
The National Women's Day was established in 1909. And
Okay.
then 1978, National Women's Week was established. And
Yes.
then in 1987, Congress did the first proclamation honoring and observing Women's History Month.
Okay.
So, one of the things that I looked at in an article, it talked about two of the three major concerns of women. And one of those is inflation, and the other one is the economy. So, when
And
I
that's
read
not a coincidence.
Yes.
That's
So
not
when
a
I read
coincidence.
that,
Mm.
yeah, so when I read that, I went to my little blue book here and turned to the page that said inflation, the silent killer, because that's exactly what it is. You may have a desire to save or think that you can live off of a retirement of $3,200 a month today. Maybe
Okay.
today. Maybe today you can. But in
Right.
10 years, you would probably have to double or more than double that amount to be able to live off of that. So it
Right.
won't be 3,200, it might be 6,000 plus dollars
Right.
because of the growing rate of inflation. And that's something that we don't learn, we're not educated about, and therefore we're not setting ourselves up now for what happens 10 years from now or 20 years from now when we hope to retire.
So it's almost like, so it's kind of almost like, not to say that it's out of your control, but like if you're not being intentional and and knowing exactly what else you should be doing, you're basically like doing the wrong thing, or you can still be in the same space.
You're behind the power curve.
Right.
You're way behind. And I'm saying this because I understand financial literacy is for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say this to people of color. Okay, I'm saying this to people of color right now. People of color, women of color, we are behind. We are behind because we don't have the education. And then many times, if education is presented to us, a lot of times we say, "Oh, I'm good. We don't need that." Yes, we do. So I just wanted to put that out there.
I think you answered the question of what do we need it for? I think you pretty much answered that. So I'm going to move past that and I'm going to go into when should we receive it?
Good question.
When is the
So
best time to receive financial literacy?
when you are a child, when
Mm,
you are a child, and each year as much as possible, well into adulthood. And I say this because as children, we are very observant and we are like sponges. We pick up a lot. We pick
yeah.
up a lot. We pick up a lot of what we
Yes.
see.
Yes.
People don't have to say anything. We just watch what people do.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember before the pandemic, so this is probably the latter part of 2019 and into, I think, maybe February of 2020. So just before the pandemic, I was actually children,
Mm-hmm.
teaching financial literacy to children between the grades of 6th and 12th grade. And in one of the lessons I taught, I was teaching about interest,
Okay.
rates of interest. And literally a 6th grader said, it's not possible to get that amount of money. It's not possible to grow that. And I thought that was sad because
Yeah.
he actually thought that there was no chance for him in his lifetime to be able to grow to a level of wealth. And that was
Right.
sad. But he said that because he saw that. He said that
Exactly.
because he heard that. He said that from
Exactly.
what he's seen day in and day out. Somebody borrowed from Peter to pay Paul.
Right.
And there's always a lack somewhere. And he's very cognizant of that. So that hurt my heart that he said, but that's not possible. I said, why do
Right.
you say that? It is possible. So we have to be careful of what we're showing our children and making sure that we're teaching our children. And these are kids. So as young as absolutely possible, when they are able to absorb it, I've taught children, let me say it like this, I've taught kids that are old enough to be in the Boy Scouts or the Cub Scouts. So you're
Okay. So
talking
that
about
was
children that
probably
are
about
6.
6. We
Mhm,
both said 6.
mhm, yep, 6 years and up, 6 years and up.
6 years old.
Yep.
Yes. I seen somewhere that this woman was saying like, as a parent, even and this is a little bit off, but it still applies to like what we're talking about. Like, even if you don't have money, or if you don't have money at the time or whatever, never tell your children, um, you guys are broke, or you don't have it, or things like that. Like, how do you feel about that in terms of like financial literacy and them absorbing a certain energy surrounding financial literacy?
So, good question. I will say this. How do I say this? When you have people in those situations, if I look at my child, if you're looking at your child, when you look at your child, you say, okay, what can I do better?
Mm,
What is it I need to say to my child, or what is it that I need to do right now to show my child the right way to do things,
right.
to show my child how to be able to build on something solid, on something that's positive. And you're right, because life is happening to people. So what do you say? And you're absolutely right about that. So when we talk about whenever we talk about anything to children,
Mm-hmm.
we need to put a positive spin on it, because that's what they need to see. I can
Exactly.
I can tell you that when I grew up, in the neighborhood I lived in, a lot of people saw us as a family that was well to do. The Harris kids, they are good kids. They come from a mother and father household.
Uh-huh.
Both parents work. They look pretty good, etc., etc. But at a certain point in time, Sister Shannon, my father he had two heart attacks. Two. He had two heart attacks, and this was right around the time that my mother was going through her bout with breast cancer, and she wasn't able to work after her first surgery.
Okay.
So things at that time were very tough for us financially.
Right.
And I knew that, but I also knew that I always had something to eat. I also knew I always had clothes on my back. I also knew that we always had shelter and we always had love.
Exactly.
And my parents never, even though times were hard, they just never painted the picture of us being poor.
Right. Right. Which
They
is
never
most
painted that
important.
picture.
Yes.
It,
That's
it
important.
I knew we weren't rich. I knew
Right.
we didn't have a silver spoon in our mouths,
Right.
but I also knew that, okay, there are people that are much worse than we are. And
Right.
I was blessed and fortunate for that. So as a result of coming from that background, I knew that automatically that, okay, I can do better than my parents.
Yes.
I can do better than that. How do I do better than that? Well, I put myself in a good position to get a good job,
Yeah.
start saving, to do more with my money, blah, blah, blah. So
Yeah.
it's,
Absolutely.
regardless of the situation, you can still put a positive spin on things and even teach your children. And as you're teaching your children, you're learning. Okay, son, here's what we're going to do. We have this dollar. We're going to put it in this jar. And at the end of the month, we're going to do something nice with it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I get it.
So you
I
can
get
still
it.
put a positive twist on it.
Yes. And I
Hopefully that
appreciate
makes
you.
sense.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You know, social media is social media, but just in life as well. Like, people have a
Mhm.
certain way they want to go about things, because like you said, learn behavior, and they continue to teach that pattern, and they don't have the optimism of other things happening, you know what I mean? And it is, so I'm glad that I did ask that question, and I'm glad that you responded in that way, because
Yes.
it's definitely about the outlook of things, and how do we go about things in a more positive light. Anything and everything has balance, you know what I'm saying? There's good and there's bad all the time.
Mhm.
So that was wonderful. What do like where do we obtain, back to the five W's, where do we obtain financial literacy?
Yes. So that's always a good question, right?
Yes.
So for us, for what I do, you can obtain the financial literacy education online.
Okay.
There is a link that we have that people can register for it, and we literally have a calendar every month that we send out that shows you the days of the week, Monday through Friday,
Uh-huh.
what workshops are going to be taught. And there's no cost for any of this. These are absolutely free. People can attend them as much as they want, as many times as they want. They can invite the whole world if they like to attend the
Okay.
workshops.
And it's like a one-to-one, or it's just like courses, and you just join at your leisure.
So actually, they are um, nationally televised. If I can say that, it's on online, social media.
Okay.
So we actually have a Zoom link. And once people register, they click on that link and then they're automatically in the room for the workshop.
Okay.
Now, we also take them in person. I love to take these in person. I love traveling to take them in person. So
Okay.
currently, right now, I actually took 3 of these workshops. We have 6 of them. I taught 3 of them to a particular group of ladies in Columbus, Mississippi. Special shout out to Columbus, Mississippi. A lot of
All
love
right
there.
now. My
Yes,
pappy is from Mississippi.
yes. And actually, I'm going to be going to visit with them in person sometime in April to deliver the workshops to those who probably weren't able to be online to get the workshops. I'll be able to deliver that to them in person. And for all of your listeners, because it is Women's History Month, I'm also offering several seminar dates this month.
Yes.
I'm doing them
Okay.
online. I'm also for whoever your listeners are, the first person that reaches out, the first person that reaches out to me, they get a one-on-one, they get a special one-on-one presentation. Again, this is not costing them anything
Right. Yeah.
except their time and an open mind. That's
No.
it.
Exactly.
And this is something that I offer to anybody, anywhere, to any organization. And again, for this is for Women's History Month. So yes, I'm gonna say it. I am targeting my sisters all over the world.
I know it. I
I am
know that's
targeting my
right.
sisters all over America, whether they're working hard or whether they already worked hard. They have a 5-figure annual salary, or maybe it's a 7-figure salary. Maybe they're just opening up a business. Maybe they're struggling in their business, trying to figure out why. Maybe they can't see how they can live from paycheck to paycheck to just living peacefully
Right.
and trying to build their financial peace. So I am willing and ready to reach out to those queens that respond, and I'll do a one-on-one for them, make them feel like a VIP that they are,
Right.
or
Right.
just do something in person for special groups of interest to them.
I
So yeah.
think that'd be beautiful. Just the idea of doing something new sometimes make people feel a lot better.
Hmm.
Just the idea of having support makes women feel a lot better.
Yes.
Just eh, feeling like you're going up the ladder
Hmm.
also makes us feel a lot better. So yeah, any links that you need to share, anything like that, when we finish the interview, I'm definitely gonna put it in the chat so everyone can get familiar with it and reach out to you as well as myself.
Okay.
Okay,
Awesome.
for sure. So for the last W, why is financial literacy importante?
Importante.
Why
Yes.
is it important to have financial literacy?
I'm going to share my own personal story with you
I,
that will
I,
answer why.
I, okay. Ooh, see, that was at the end, but go ahead. I was definitely gonna ask you let me ask the question how I wrote the question.
Okay.
Okay. What is your story when it comes to becoming and stabilizing your journey in financial literacy? So I
Yes.
guess that's what makes it important. Your story is always important. I love that. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Everybody has a story. So here's my
Right.
story. I'm already in retirement mode. I've been retired for 3 years now. A friend shared with me about a place that shares with people how they can make their money work better for them.
Mhm.
The workshops are free. Go check it out. Okay, no problem. And as I'm starting to learn and I'm attending workshops, because obviously I see, okay, I really don't know anything about money. And this one workshop that I attended, I say we because these people, they started off being my instructors to now they are my business partners.
Love
And
it.
everything that I now know, I've learned from them. And one of the workshops we talk about is entitled Proper Protection.
Mhm.
Proper Protection talks about life insurance. That's one of many facets to building a solid financial foundation. It's one
Right.
of the most critical, and it's the one that's not truly understood by many. If it was understood by many, then there wouldn't be a need for people to pass the hat around.
Mm-hmm.
You would find people in a much better financial state of being if people understood truly the value and the power of life insurance. So,
Right.
again, I didn't know. I didn't know anything. I'm telling you, I was completely embarrassingly financially illiterate at this time. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm in this classroom learning about, life insurance, the disadvantages and the advantages of different types, the difference between a term and permanent life insurance, cash value, and all of those things.
Okay.
And while the instructor was sharing a real life sad story of a young lady who was suddenly killed trying to be a good Samaritan, her and the person she was trying to assist, they were killed by a drunk driver. She did not update her designated beneficiary information on her life insurance policy.
Oh man.
So the deadbeat father of one of her children slash ex-husband came out of the woodworks because he was still on there as her beneficiary, and he split the family apart. He split the family. He split them
Oh
up.
my God.
So as the instructor is sharing this story with me, the memory of a very traumatic event in my life was triggered. When I was 19 years old and just starting my career in the Air Force, I came home after completing all of my training, and it was the week of Thanksgiving. I came home to the news, Michi, somebody shot and killed Dad the other day. So that memory was triggered because I remembered hearing all those years ago that my father did not have life insurance. Now, I
Mm.
already knew my father did not have a lot of money. Keep in mind, about 4 years, 4 years earlier, my mother succumbed to breast cancer complications, so she died.
Right.
Um, so I will never know the financial weight of that all, but I do know that my father continued to work up until the day he died.
Okay.
Mind you, my father was not, it was like 3 weeks before his 50th birthday. So that memory was triggered. And I'm sitting in this classroom with like 12 other people, and I'm like, why is the memory of my father's death coming at me like this?
Right.
But as I thought about it, it it wasn't the event, but it was the money surrounding the event that I needed to focus on.
Okay.
And at that moment, I started texting my brothers and I said, "Hey, is it true that Dad did not have life insurance?" And one of my brothers responded and he said, "Yes, that is true."
Mm.
And at that moment, Shannon, I said, "You know what? I'm learning things for the first time here. I have already served my country for 20 plus years, and none of this has ever been shared with me. Now that I know, I want to know how many people out there in the world don't know and they needed to know it yesterday."
Yes.
So I took a
Yes.
huge leap of faith and I said, I don't know exactly what these people do here in World System Builder. I don't know what they do, but I want to do what they do. I want
Right.
to do what they do
It
because it was
won't hurt.
changing
Why
me.
not? It
It
won't
was
hurt.
changing. That's right.
Yeah.
It
Mm-hmm.
didn't. Trust me, it did not.
Mm-hmm.
So I joined the organization. I continued to learn about money. And I also made it my business to become a licensed life accident health insurance producer, AKA a licensed financial services professional. Bottom line, because of what happened to my dad, because of the financial burden he almost left us with, I
Yeah.
decided, Shannon, that I was going to reverse that story for me,
Mm-hmm.
that my
Right.
father's story is not my story.
Exactly.
So I decided to make it my business to work on building my own financial foundation. And I
Right.
realized that I had to be educated first.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my story, and that's why it's so important. Now, today, if I was to transition from here into glory, which I hope I make it to glory, if I was to
Amen. So,
transition from here today, my husband would not have to worry about working for the rest of his life.
I know that's right. I
Money
know
will
that's
not be a
right.
problem.
Problem.
Money is not the only thing, but it makes life easier.
Yes. Yes. It's a
It
tool.
makes life easier.
It's a tool.
So I made it my business to continue to keep working on making sure that I built a financial foundation of a comfortable amount. For me, more than $1 million.
I
I
love it.
I chose to do that.
Right.
I chose to do that because I learned better, and I
Right.
decided that my father's story was not going to be mine. So that's my why.
I love it.
Mhm.
I love that. I love that. I love it. Yes. Oh
Yes, ma'am.
God. Um, I think you're about to become my why.
So be it. So
Yes,
be it, my friend.
yes, yes. That little segment that we had just the other night, I can't wait to continue. That's what I'm speaking on.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I've been praying myself, for God to allow a mentor into my life,
Oh,
um,
thank
in
you.
all aspects of my life,
Yes.
um,
Yes.
especially financially. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I do a pretty good job. I think that I am somewhat literate of finances and in
Mhm.
the financial field. I definitely have way more learning to go. But I think that I'm getting started, and I just need to structure it. I think I
Yes.
have all the
Yes.
tools, but
Yes.
it just has to come into some type of forum where it works for me, right?
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
and we're gonna get there.
Yes.
Um,
And just imagine if so I started building my financial future, changing my financial foundation. I
mhm,
started that when I was 47. Now I'm 53. I started that when I was 47 years old. Imagine what it could have been like if I had started that 15, 20,
18. Yeah,
25,
yeah,
30 years ago,
yeah, yeah.
and people that are young, they just don't understand that they need to start now. They
Right,
need to start now. Start now while you can still work. Start now while you still have cash coming in. Start now
right.
while you're still healthy. Start now while you're in your right frame of mind. I've talked to too many people that are well above 60 and they still have to work. They don't have time to think about retiring because they're not ready to retire. They should
Right,
be,
right,
but they're not.
right.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
that's what I wanted to share.
absolutely. So financial literacy, um the when I googled it, the definition of it, financial literacy is the cognitive understanding of financial components and skills such as budgeting, investing, borrowing, taxation, and personal financial management. How do we make financial literacy work for us and work for us at its best?
Great question. How do we make it work for us and work at its best? So I'm going to use myself as an example.
Let's go. Let's go. You are the product, and it is what
Yes,
it is, you know?
yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
absolutely.
It first started, okay, so it started with me, first of all, the person just sharing, opening up his mouth, say, hey, go to that place over there. They're teaching people how money works.
Mm,
Okay. Somebody took the time to share, to pour, they just shared with me.
mhm,
Once I got there and I started to learn valuable information, things I had never heard of before. And I thought, okay, I'm really inquisitive and I want to learn more. Here's what I want to say. It's not enough to just learn, but you also have to apply what you learn. So for me, after I attended a couple of the workshops, I saw, okay, the next step for me is to do a financial review. I need to look at my money. I need to look at what's coming in and what's going out and where it's going and how I can gain control of that.
right.
A lot of people do not have a handle on their money because they don't know where their money is going. They're not tracking it. They're not monitoring it. It's just like, you know, health and wellness. If you want to lose X number amount of weight, if you want to build
Right,
up
you have to be on top
muscle
of that.
mass, if you're working towards a bodybuilding competition, which I have done twice in my lifetime, guess what? These things have to be monitored. What you put in your mouth has to be monitored. The workouts you do, you're not just going in to do overhead shoulder press for the sake of it. No, you're going in there to build a particular series of muscles. You're not just doing squats to just to be doing them. Okay, there are certain types of squats that will hit certain muscles a certain way.
Yeah,
These things
yeah,
have to be monitored. The amount of weight that you're using when you're doing strength training, your cardio as well, your diet or your nutrition plan. the different types of exercises that you're using to target the core muscle. So all
Mhm.
these have to be monitored, and it has to be monitored over a certain period of time because you're going through a transformational process.
Right.
It's the same with your
Right.
finances. It has to go through a transformation. And in order to see the development or the growth of it, you have to monitor it. And the best way to monitor what's happening with your money is through a financial review. See where you are at right now. And that happened to me. My very first real financial review, Sister Shannon, let me tell you something. I didn't even know how much we were paying for our mortgage. I didn't know how much I was paying towards our rental property. I didn't know how much I was paying on our
Yeah.
house that sits in our driveway and in our garage. I didn't know any of this stuff. But you know
Right.
what I told the guy who's not one of my business partners when he asked basic questions like that? Because I was so embarrassed, my quick response was, "My husband takes care of that."
Mm.
That's the wrong answer.
Mm.
That is the wrong answer.
Mhm.
So quickly that showed me, okay, I can't give that answer. And I think I called my husband like 3 times. Hold on a minute. Let me call my husband. Babe, how much do we pay for so and so? And he could rat it off. I called him again. Babe, how much do we pay for so and so? He ratted it off. Why
Right.
can't I do that?
Right.
It's my money going towards these things too. I need
Right.
to know and I need to do that. It is not my husband's responsibility.
Mhm.
Women, listen to me. It is not just the responsibility of your significant other. You have a responsibility to know where your money is going and to know what it's doing, to take control because your significant other is not always going to be here. Then
That's
what?
right.
Then
That's
what?
right. That's right. That's
So
right.
at that moment, I decided that, okay, I need to do better. So
Mhm.
after that first initial meeting, I had some homework to do. I needed to go back and I needed to go through our balance accounts. Now that I know, okay, this is about how much money we're bringing into our house
Right.
between, his pay and my pay, right? Okay, now that I know about how much we're bringing into the house, let me see how much is going out. So I just did an average over a 3 month span of where the money was going. Okay, I'm a foodie. I'm a foodie. And this was before I became a vegan slash pescatarian.
Okay.
I was eating any and everything.
And
I,
buying out,
that's
buying it out, eating it, everything.
Yeah,
Okay.
dining out, that part, dining out. Because I
Out.
was retired, so I had a lot more time. Okay, I'm gonna go
Right.
Susie and Jim and Jane, okay, and
I'm
then later
enjoying
on
the fruits
tonight,
of my labor. Yes.
yeah, I got
Mhm.
dinner. I'm gonna pay for their dinner. Hey, when I looked at my balance statements and I was sifting through and seeing, okay, how many times did I eat out in that month? 6 times. Okay, I need to cut back. I need to cut back. My husband, he's a techie guy, so he downloads, iTunes, Apple iTunes. He plays games. He may download stuff for that. Okay, hey, nothing wrong with that. But $6.99, $12.99, $3.99, $11.99. When you're doing that, maybe 4 times a week,
Right.
that adds up
Right.
over the month.
Mhm.
So I had to bring my beloved husband in and I said, hey, we got to do better. Okay, I know for sure I need to stop dining out all the doggone time. Okay, check, I got that. I can stop dining out I need to stop that.
Yeah.
Um, you know, cable,
Baby.
cable. This is how,
Cable.
this is how detached I was from my money. Hey, just because you make money don't mean that you need to blow it.
That exactly. And you know what,
Mm-hmm.
Michi, that's a great statement that you made, because you know what I feel, and it is what it is. I love my people, so I can call my people out. You know what I mean? Like, this is coming from a caring, nurturing place. But we have a tendency to, grow at some point, make more money, be in a different space, and then add more to our plate.
Mm-hmm.
And then we say, oh, what's the statement that we say? More money, like the more money, more problems, or something in that. area or whatever the case may be. But the more money you have, like the more you have to do. Basically, that's what it is. But no,
No.
no, we make a lot of our debt because we are making
Hmm.
more money. You
Yep.
understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know, sometimes like when I am cutting corners or when I will like try to figure out a cheaper way to go about something that I can just easily pay for, whatever the case may be. Sometimes people in our community or around you or around us don't understand that method. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? But that
Hmm.
it is exactly what you just said. Just because you have it don't mean you have to spend it.
That's right.
You
That's
never
right.
know when you're gonna need it. And you never know
Absolutely
what you're gonna need
correct.
it for in a different space. Or it could just go to something more worthwhile, more purposeful, you know what I mean? Something
Yep.
that's more meaningful, things like that, if you have to even use it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's correct. That's correct. And I'm learning. So there's something, as you were talking, there's something referred to as stewardship.
Mm,
And we have to learn how to be better stewards of our finances. And that's our problem. Once we learn, now we have to discipline ourselves in
okay.
that area.
Can you
And
explain what stewardship is?
I'm sorry.
Can you explain what stewardship is?
Sure. Stewardship means that you are the gatekeeper. You are the one that's in control and in charge of doing better with what you have.
Okay.
Being able to monitor effectively and to morally and ethically be in control of that which you are given. So being a better steward of your money, being a better steward of your body,
Yes.
being in control of what you're putting into your body, uh,
Yes.
making the wise decision not to overindulge in chocolate or
Right.
to overindulge in pizza. These are things that I happen to love, by the way, but
True.
making sure that you're doing things um, smartly and in portions. So when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to our money, you hit it on the head. Stop spending all of your money now because you need to start saving for something later
Yes.
on. One of those later ons is healthcare. Things hit a lot differently when you're retired.
Yes.
The cost of living a retired lifestyle looks a lot different than you living your life as a person that's still working, that's still making money.
Absolutely.
You
Yes.
still have your employer's life insurance and you still have those health benefits, the medical benefits with that. But when you retire, it's completely different. And you
Yep.
have to have the money, the financial means set aside that you start working on right now for later.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
yes.
I see that struggle with my mom. She's retired as well.
Mm,
Everything is going up.
hmm.
But her income isn't.
That's right.
You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
She's
Yes, I
retired
do.
now. So the income is here. That's where it's at. Unless you pick up a little part-time job or whatever you got to do. But then you're retiring to go back to work, like or work for someone else.
Mm, mm.
That's the struggle. That is
Yes,
the struggle,
yes.
you know.
And that.
So what should people start with and end with, in your opinion, when it comes to financial literacy? Where should we start and where should we end, in your opinion?
So in my opinion, it's a process, right? It is let me see, it's a process and it's a lifestyle.
Okay.
So let's say, for example, and I'm going to equate this to uh, health. Health and wealth, they go together.
Yep.
One area falters, the other one is sure to falter with it. Or if you do good in one of those areas, then you don't have to worry about exhausting the other. So when we talk about health, I already told I love fitness. I love to eat healthy most of the time.
Right, right.
Most of the
The
time,
balance. It's back to the balance we were
right?
saying.
Yes, yes, yes. But guess
That
what?
balance.
Right. But if I have certain goals of that I want to reach, maybe I want to maybe I want to lose 2 inches off of my waist. And maybe that may look like, okay, if I lose about 10 pounds or something like that. So once I get to that goal, that doesn't mean that I just go haywire. That doesn't
Yeah.
mean that I just start to do those. That doesn't mean that I pick up those old habits that I had to discipline myself from to do better. It means that I now am making this a part of my life. It's a lifestyle change. It's something that I need to continue to keep doing so that I can stay healthy, so that I don't have to worry about the increase in risk for a cancer, a recurrence of cancer, so that I don't have to worry about diabetes. I don't have to worry about high cholesterol. I don't have to worry about hypertension. I don't have to worry about advancement of strokes, et cetera, et cetera. But in order for me to be able to be in a good space, I have to maintain that space. So it's a lifestyle.
Right.
It's a lifestyle. And it's the
Right.
same with money. So your financial reviews, okay, a financial review you get is not just one and done. Why? Because life changes, things happen. You know, maybe
Right.
you get your financial review today and you were married, and then 3 months later, your husband, the honeymoon is over because he died. Okay,
Mm.
now life has changed for you. So now there's another financial review, and you have to see exactly where you're at, where you need to be, and what you need to do now because life is different. So
Right.
the financial review is something that you continue to keep doing. If you have policies, if you have annuities, these are things that you need to review at least once a year. Me
Okay.
working with my clients, I make sure that I follow up with them throughout the year,
Nice.
throughout the
Right.
year, because I know that life happens and they need to know that I'm there as a part of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I love to do. I it's not just okay, let me write this piece of business and get this money. Stop the madness. It's about relationship, and it's about taking the interests of others and making it your own and being able to
Right.
help them where they're at, no matter what that looks like. So it's a continual process that it never ends.
Okay.
Well, when it ends is when you die. And when you die, you will be glad, or the families that you're leaving behind, the legacy that you're leaving behind is going to be in a much better place because what you did throughout the course of your life is now benefiting them. And this is the changing of the guard. So now they will be able to do the same thing that you did for them. Why? Because you taught them. Why?
Exactly.
Because you set the example for them.
Mm-hmm.
And you will continue the legacy of generational wealth.
Yes. I love that. I love that. I love. Don't worry. Still, I'm gonna get a bell, and it's gonna be ringing every time we hear Jim. Okay, because drop the mic live might be like really dropping the mic. Um, that was perfect. I really know that someone is going to gain from this conversation for sure. But
Yes.
most importantly, I really hope that our young people gain from this conversation as well. The ones in college, the ones that are just like, I want money, but I don't know how to go about it, or have
Hmm.
money, just like to blow money, you know.
Right. Right.
Um, what is the most important part of financial literacy for beginners?
What is the more,
What is the most important part of financial literacy for beginners?
hmm, I would say being able to, okay, so goal setting, goal setting.
Okay.
One of
Okay.
the things that we do with our financial reviews, it's hard for you to set a budget. It's hard for you to set a financial goal if you don't even set a goal. You need to look at, okay, I'm working, for me, came in at 18 into the United States Air Force. I should have set a goal then, right? I should have said, okay, I'm 18. Where do I see myself financially in 5 years? Um, where do I see myself in 20 years? But a lot of times we don't think like that because we're not taught like that. We're in a system that teaches us to just go to work and we work for somebody else's agenda. We make money, we pay the bills and repeat. We don't think about setting goals for ourselves. We don't think about the future. We don't know what's going to happen today, but we certainly still can do things to plan for the future. So we encourage people to say, okay, what are your short-term goals? What is it that you want to focus on, in less than a year?
Right.
Okay, what is your midterm goals, between 1 and 5 years? What do you want to do? And it can be anything. What are your long-term goals? And sadly, a lot of people, we don't think about it. We
Mm-hmm.
don't have goals. We're too busy trying to stay afloat. We're too busy trying to keep food on the table. We're too busy working one job, two jobs, you know?
True. Or we'll
So,
have them, we write them down, and then we just let it go by
yes.
the wayside. Hmm.
So the most important thing for the beginner is to set a goal.
Yeah,
Set a
yeah,
goal.
I like that. Absolutely, I definitely agree with that. Yeah. Um, what are your opinions on investing as opposed to saving? So we spoke about saving.
Hmm.
I do know that financial literacy also, pertains to investing as well. So, what are your like what are your opinions in regards to saving as opposed to investing? A lot of people do feel. I just want to say this. I'm sorry,
Hmm.
but a lot of people feel it's not a necessity to save because they feel that investing is more purposeful.
Okay. Good. I like the question.
Mhm.
So when you talk about saving and investing, the two are interchangeable. The two are together. Whenever you put money away towards something, it's a type of savings. If you're investing, okay, that's a contribution, that's a savings that you are putting towards a specific goal. So when it comes to, it goes right back to goal setting.
Okay.
It depends on what your goals are. You are making money, but now you have to give every dollar, every penny an assignment. So you have to determine, what is the assignment of this money? What is the assignment of this extra $100? What is
Yes.
the assignment of this extra $500? Do I
Yes.
want this $100 to go towards building up my savings in my cash value accumulating life insurance? Or do I want this pot of money to go towards my Roth IRA? Or do I
Right.
want this amount of money to go towards my checking or my CDs? But you know what? You also have to learn and understand the taxation categories that your money falls into. And again, so I think we tend to flock towards things that we hear, but we don't understand. So we
That's right.
always hear about the market,
The stock.
stocks, bonds,
Yes. Bitcoin,
mutual
crypto.
funds. And I'm not saying anything is wrong with that. Nothing is
Yeah,
wrong with that.
no,
But you
because
need to
it's
get
good.
you need to get an understanding of how your money works in the market.
Right.
And people, that's why the financial literacy is so important,
Right.
because people need to understand, okay, I understand if I put my money over here in this particular category of money, the rate of interest might be 2%. We already talked about the rate of inflation on an average is 3 to 3.5%. If you are investing your money in a particular thing that's only going to give you a rate of return of 2%, you are behind. Your
Mm,
money is behind. It is not keeping up with the pace of inflation.
okay.
All right.
Okay.
So when people get that understanding,
Yes.
now they can say, okay, well, I understand that. So maybe I'll put this amount of money here, but I want to put more of my money somewhere where it's going to really grow for me and it's going to accumulate faster at a more higher yielding rate of return.
Okay.
So that's my opinion on savings and investing. It's all, number one, what the person wants. What are your objectives for your money?
Right.
What is it that you want to do with the money over here or the money over there? Where do you want to put it? And do you understand how it's going to grow for you? Do you understand the risks with that money in that particular account versus another account where it can probably protect your money from the
Right.
downside of the market? Are you a risk taker, or are you conservative with your money? So all
Right.
these things play into the savings and investing.
I love that. I
Mhm.
love that. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
You're
um,
welcome.
so realistically speaking, is financial literacy for all class of people? And the reason why
Yeah.
I'm asking that is because once again it goes back to our community and the way that we think and the way that we process things.
Mhm,
There are some people, and I don't even want to call them ignorant. It's just really what they know,
mhm,
and what they
mhm,
don't know.
mhm.
So when there are people in our community, saying like, well, how are we supposed to be here when we don't have this and we don't have that, or we don't even know where to get started, or we don't have the education for this, or our mama didn't teach us this, or our auntie didn't teach us that, things of that nature. Like, it comes to a certain point where they are feeding their brain that financial literacy is not even for them,
Mm.
subconsciously.
Yes.
So I asked you, so who's someone who is in the business, in the market, knowing what's going on, in the know, right? In all realms of it, do you think that is for everyone realistically?
It is for everyone who wants to receive it.
Every class of people, excuse me, every class of people.
Yes. Yes. Financial literacy is something for everyone. I don't care if you're black, white, red, yellow. I don't care if you are an immigrant. I don't care if you are a six-figure, seven-figure income earner. I don't care if your name is in lights. I don't care if you are at the top of your political game. I don't care if you are an MD, surgeon. I don't care if you're a doctor, lawyer, Indian chief. I don't care if you are struggling to make ends meet. I don't care if you don't have a care in the world about your financial situation. I don't care if you are a divorcee and your husband or your ex-husband or ex-wife left you a nice chunk of money. I don't care. People still need to know that there's something about money that they don't know.
Right,
And when we talk about money, it's not just money that you have. This is Social Security, uh, Medicare versus Medicaid,
right,
long-term care, your estate plan, having a will, the probate process, all these things have a value of money associated with them. Now, you may not see those things right now, but what you are doing now will benefit you later when life happens, when you live long enough, when you're going to start taking out Social Security benefits, if Social Security is around long enough for your generation to see it, right?
right,
When the time comes and now you are at age of 65 and you do have to apply for Medicare, or something should happen in life and okay, well, now it's an issue of long-term care. Well, if you weren't contributing towards long-term care now, my goodness, the family is now having to struggle financially because now they have to figure out how they're going to come together and take care of mom and dad,
right, right.
and there's no long-term care in place. So everybody can benefit and everybody needs financial literacy.
I agree. I definitely do. Um, this is the last question
Sure.
of the night.
Sure.
This is going to be the last question. I feel like this topic can go on forever. We may need a part two. Um, if interested, but we definitely may need a part two because this is very enlightening. It
Oh,
really
sure.
is.
Absolutely.
It,
Yes. No problem.
and motivating. On top of that, so does furthering your education in school better your chances of becoming more financially literate? Reason why I'm asking, once again, our community. Um, we have this fight and this battle of what school does for us and what school doesn't do for us. To a certain extent, I don't even know why we have that argument, right? Because it's kind of like I get it, but I don't at the same time because it goes back for me to one of those things that it's like it's not going to harm you. Like why not, right? So, but we have it. We have these arguments all the time. We have these debates all the time, and we have the argument is basically about like what you can reap and the benefits from it to see if it's worthwhile with topics like financial literacy, and it needs to be taught in school and this, that, and the third. Do you think that just general education in itself is it will what am I trying to say? Like better your chances of being more financially literate or being motivated to be more financially literate.
So higher learning is always an honor.
Mm,
It's always it's a
love
blessing
that.
to be able to be in a position where you can go to school. I mean, how many stories have we heard of people that are first generation college graduates? You know, yeah. So that's a huge thing.
Right.
That's major.
Mm-hmm.
That is major.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality behind this, though, is that a lot of people may go to school to get a degree in medicine, to get a degree in some type of law, to get a degree in communications, but that degree doesn't necessarily mean they're going to land a job in
Right.
that field.
That's the other side of it.
That's the other
That's
side
the
of it.
fight. That's the tug of war. That's the fight
Hmm.
that we constantly have in our community.
Yep.
Hmm.
So you can have the degrees, but if you don't have the job for the degrees that you work so hard to attain, you're no different than anybody else.
Right.
Your degrees are great, but your degrees are not going to put you ahead of that other person that maybe they have a job that's paying them maybe 50,000 a year,
Right.
but they have more money saved. They have more invested in their future without the degree
Yes.
because they chose to get financially educated and they chose to apply that knowledge. There are many people that are, working in the medical field or the healthcare industry. I was talking with a beautiful girlfriend of mine Friday, and she shared with me about a young gentleman that works with her in I think a radiology department at a particular healthcare facility. And he commented on how, yeah, I got that car there that I'm paying like $1,000 a month on a car payment. Why? That's an educated man.
Right.
But he needs the financial education and he needs to apply it so that he can do better.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So if he
Yeah.
has $1,000 to, I'm not going to say waste on a car note, surely he has $1,000 that he can put towards his savings to building up for his future for things that matter.
Absolutely.
So hopefully that answered the question. The degrees don't got it. You're educated, but education and financial education are two different things.
Okay. Okay. And that most definitely answered the question.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we have people that's watching, right? And I just want to read some of the comments.
Sure.
So we have Corner Music Entertainment. She said, great point. The more we make, the more we spend. That was going back to the conversation that we had
Mhm.
about that. She said, good point. Give your money an assignment. I really like that statement. Give your money an assignment. I
Yes.
love that. Like, oh my
Yes.
God.
Yes. 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 Ma'am.
you know,
Put it to work. Put it
that's
to work.
important, and that's another thing. We hear a lot, oh, make your money work for you, make your money work for you, right? But we don't necessarily understand what that means.
It's true.
I struggle with that. I really
Mhm.
do.
Mhm.
I know what it means, but in the everyday field and the way I'm living life and things like that, it's not always conducive and it doesn't always articulate well. Like it doesn't, so yeah, I still struggle with that. So I know others do as well. um what can someone do right now? That's what she asked. What can someone do right now?
Call me.
Miss Nietzsche Jeffries, call her. Yeah, call her. Let me put the number in the chat.
Yeah.
I am so serious. I am writing your name right now, and she said call her. Yes, what number are we giving out? What number are we dialing?
240
Okay.
210 4489.
4489 240 210. Right?
Mm-hmm.
4489.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Yes.
I
We are.
that's the best answer. That's simple and to the point.
Yes. Is there anything else aside from us going into part two that you feel like the public needs to hear like right now? Right now. To get started, to end, whatever it is. Anybody to a message to everyone who is in different spaces right now that can all come together to relate.
Look at where your money is going. For every dollar that's going somewhere, know where it is going. I just shared with you a little bit about the cable, right? When I had did my first financial review.
Yes.
So I again, observation all my life. Every household that I've gone into, from my friends, my family members, they've had cable. So guess what? Now that I'm married and I'm living life, everywhere we go, okay, every house has to have cable. Every place that I live has to have cable. Now, what I did not realize is how much I was paying for cable. When I looked through my balance statements and I saw, like, literally, no kidding, it was like about $300 a month, a month,
Yes.
a
And it's
month,
still that.
a
It's
month.
still that.
So when I saw that, I was like, oh, $300 for cable a month? And I've been paying $300 a month for like 9 years.
Yes.
It's nauseating to think about what I could have done with $300
Yes.
in an account that could have been yielding me 5%, 6%, 8%, 9%, 10%, 11%, 12%, 13% rate of interest.
Absolutely. Um,
I lost. I lost. I lost.
you're absolutely right. You are
Yep.
absolutely right.
Yep. So pay attention to where your money is going. Look at it. Get to know your money.
Yes.
Don't just make it and spend it. Know exactly where your money is going. And if you need to redirect it, then you do that. That's called control.
I love it. I just had a topic too about control too, and how
Mm,
how control is not a bad thing, but that's
it's
like
not.
off topic. But yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because sometimes when I hear people say certain things, it just confirms what I already know.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, you can know things and you can speak on things, but when you hear others say it, that and not just anybody, but others who are well educated about what they're speaking on, and
Mm-hmm.
it aligns with what you have to say, it just confirms that you're on the right track.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Corner Music said, pay for Wi-Fi, get a smart TV. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and that's good. Redirect your money and control it. Exactly. She asked, what are your services?
Ah. So my services is workshops, one-on-one financial review, gifting people with this book right here, the Saving Your Future book, um, and being a part of their financial journey. So let me say this: who was that beloved person? What was the name?
Corner Music Entertainment.
Corner Music Entertainment. Thank you, beloved Corner Music Entertainment. So those are my services. There, it goes a little bit deeper than that. So not only do I educate because I'm licensed, I also help people apply what it is that I teach them. So maybe somebody maybe they're self-employed and they don't have an established IRA account. Okay, I help them establish that. Maybe it's someone who, yes, they have employer's insurance. However, they understand that employer's insurance is temporary because when your relationship with your employer changes, that means that you're no longer covered through that insurance plan. And in some cases, if you are probably with some form of the government, you can continue to keep the employer's insurance, but you're going to pay a lot more for a lot less.
Mm-hmm.
So when people understand that, then the other thing I do, yes, I also help them apply different options of life insurance that's going to help them whatever phase of life that they're in and whatever their goals are for their money, and educating them on a lot of different various things that they can do with life insurance. Um, Maybe somebody just needs a debt management plan. Somebody comes and they say, look, I had a rough ride. Last year was not the year. I got married and divorced in the same year. Help me out.
Right.
Okay. So I can, sometimes it's just a matter of meeting people where they are,
Yes.
meeting
Yes.
people where they are. I don't turn anybody away. That's foolishness. This is a
Hmm.
ministry of helping people. I cannot turn anybody away,
Even
but I
if they
can meet
screwed
people
up,
where they are. Huh?
even if they screwed up, like they're like behind and they screwed up, and or they're already retired, and they've like kind of just don't know anything about financial literacy. Like, can you bring them back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a no judgment zone here. I mean, I already told you I wasted 26 years
Right. Right.
of my money. That equates to a seven-figure amount of money that I literally wasted
Got you.
over 26 years. So I'm in no room to say, I don't want to help. No. Mm-mm. Look, the only way somebody's not going to be helped is because they stop the process. It won't be because I stop it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
And do
So
you have with building credit?
we actually have a through our debt management education, we show people how they can build up their credit. We show them how they simple things like, okay, sometimes it's just a matter of reaching out to the people that you're indebted to. Say, hey,
Okay.
I'm working on it, but this is all I can pay you for this month. This is all I can pay you until I get my cash flow back up. There are some debtors that will work with you, and
Yeah.
some of my fellow agent business partners have learned this firsthand. They said, you know what? Yeah, we say it all the time, but then it actually happened to me. And I was like, oh, wow, that okay. So there are some people out there that will work with you.
Yeah.
They will work with you
Yeah.
and help you get out of debt.
I'm glad that I don't want to say it in a way where it sounds bad, but um a lot of financial literacy gurus, they focus more on the building credit part.
Mm,
I'm glad that that's kind of like, from what I'm hearing, secondary.
yes,
It can still be a part of what it is that we do or what it is that you do. However, that's not the main focus,
that's correct.
because that gets conflicting as well with just working on your credit, building your credit, and nothing else around it. It has to be a well-rounded scenario when it comes to financial literacy.
Yes,
So
yes,
I love that actually. Yeah.
yes, yes.
Um,
So, corner music entertainment, I'm expecting my phone to ring.
and she's loving it because she is going. Oh, she said I could relate. I feel like I wasted a lot of time and money managing it. She
Yeah.
said, being scared of being poor kept me from being rich.
Mm.
Ooh, yes, you have a holistic approach. Love, love,
Yes,
love, love, love.
yes,
And I
yes,
want to speak on that real quick because I
yes,
like the fact that you definitely said that you gift. You gift. What ran through my brain when you said that automatically was spirituality,
yes,
having purpose,
yes,
serving. So that alignment, being holistic, being spiritual, the gifting, once you started saying, like, I like the gift,
yes,
that's exactly what came to my mind. And for
yes,
those reasons right there, like, you're always going to be blessed and you're
yes.
always going to give what you give.
Amen. 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 And,
Yes.
and the word holistic, that person, I think they sat through one of my workshops or something, because at the beginning of every workshop, we talk about we take a holistic approach.
Yes. Exactly. Yes, but it is Sunday. I'm not gonna keep you guys all night. We literally can talk about this all night, which is something that I'm very proud of. And shout out to all the women for
Yes.
Women's History Month. Financial
Yes.
literacy is extremely, extremely important. Miss Jeffries, Michi, my good sis.
Mm,
Um, I am going to reach out to you again. I do definitely think that we need a part two. Um,
Absolutely.
I want to say I'm grateful and I'm thankful for having you on my platform again.
Thank you for the
Okay.
platform. Yes.
You have no idea, like I really and truly am. They loved you last time. Okay. You
Love them
brought the
back.
fire.
Mwah, 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 mwah,
You are
mwah.
back. And this is the fifth episode of season 2 for Drop Like
Wow.
Live Mike. Okay, we talking that money. Okay. We are talking that money. Okay. Um, I thank you. I'm
Thank
honored.
you.
And I will see you guys soon. This is Drop the Mic Live Mike, season 2, episode 5. Please stay tuned for the next episode. Have a great night, guys.